Welcome back, aspiring and established founders and nobles. It's been a week since I've gotten back from Asia, and I still have not gotten over jet lag. And I think it's a combination of having been sick and then coming back to the cold and maybe running. And my sleep schedule is super effed. And if you believe in anything Brian Johnson is saying, sleep is one of the most important factors for health and anti-aging, only second to the sauna and stopping smoking. The Founders Hub is almost done for its pre-alpha release, so anybody who's curious about saving time on establishing the foundations of a business, including simplifying legal compliance and having everything bring you to the official website for where you're registering your business, then feel free to reach out in the comments for early access. I'm only accepting a limited amount of people, so if you're interested in testing it out, definitely reach out. Problem is, it's now 9 p.m. and I've slept from 12 to 8 p.m. I'm also not eating very well. And I don't know if it's a combination of sickness or poor sleep, but my appetite is effed. So we have to focus on reestablishing our circadian rhythm and a consistent sleep schedule before we can start attacking the world and our ambitions at optimal efficiency. Wake up at 4, go to sleep by 8. That's how it's going to work. One of the most important things for nobles and founders is making consistent, good decisions and then being able to execute those decisions. If you can execute all day, but your brain is fried, so your decision-making skills are suboptimal, then everything that you build is going to be suboptimal. As far as the success habits, we did meditate this morning. We did read The Gap and the Gain, and in it continued talking about subtraction. What if everything that you complained about, it was instantly removed? You complain about your phone, bam, you don't have a phone anymore. You complain about the food, bam, you lose your meal. You complain about your car, you don't have a car anymore. You complain about your job, well, you don't have a job anymore. The idea is to reframe your reality so that instead of being in the gap, which is a place where you have no control and there's nothing you can do about the things that are happening to you, the gain is a place where you have full control because you take responsibility for everything happening as it comes from you. You are creating the world around you, which obviously as a founder, that's one of the most useful places that you can be. If everything comes from you, then your reality is yours to decide, and the outcome is based on the effort that you put in rather than a random chance. And to close this out, it is now 36 degrees out. It's getting cold, but we missed the run period in the morning. And you know what that means? You run at night. You need more ambition. You limit yourself more than anyone else that I know. Ambition is one of the most significant traits that somebody can have when they're building an empire. My brother and I, when we were younger, used to give each other challenges that were incredibly ambitious, and they rarely came to fruition. But we saw a glimpse of the potential that we were capable of. We knew the world that we can build is much, much more significant than the world we live in. And I would say that as time progresses, the gap between the potential and reality thins. And I would hope that my brother would feel the same way, all of my brothers. But if we just locked in, if we just gave those projects, those ambitions, the respect that they deserved and gave ourselves no choice but to do them, the things that we could have produced would have not only been life-changing for us, but would have made unignorable ripples throughout the world. If every idea that you ever had, you actually followed through with, to an extent that there was physical proof that you had pursued it, what would your life look like? Because I would think that your life would be very different. You would be a very different person. You would have to be to get that far in everything that you ever came up with. Dropshipping, cryptocurrency, day trading, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, starting a brand, using Shopify, being a salesperson, writing a book, all of the ambitions that you've had, all of the projects that you've tried to pursue but never followed through with. If you just followed through to a certain point, you would have to become a different person. You would always have to, because you would have to learn and develop skills that you never had. You'd have to be exposed to ideas that you would never have thought of. You'd have to become somebody who knows how to overcome impossible challenges, and then you gain skills and perspectives that would previously have only been accessible to people who do that as a job. Ambition is often a curse, or it feels like it, because when it's not paired with execution, it's just self-torture. There's so much that you want to do, and yet your vessel, the person that you are, for one reason or another, can't figure out how to actually get it done. How incredibly frustrating. Let me say this with light. There is nothing in this world that you cannot achieve. Everything that has ever been done was impossible until it was done. until somebody had the courage or the audacity to just go and figure it out. Every big major tech company in the world, every billionaire, the only way that they ever get there is by doing something that everyone else deems too risky or impossible. You know how I know that you can be an astronaut if you want to be? Because there are astronauts. There are so many opportunities everywhere that you can take advantage of and use to propel yourself into the future, succeeding in the way that you want. There's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't build if you just put away the doubt and the bias and the opinions of others and you just pursue it. That's today's message. Pursue it. Pursue it. Regardless of what anybody else thinks, pursue it. And don't pursue it blindly. Don't fool yourself into thinking that a bad idea is a good idea. Use data. I have this great idea. I'm going to follow it through until it gets to a point where it can prove itself. And if it doesn't, either A, the product sucks, or I do. That's great, because if the product sucks, you can create a new product or you can make it better. And if you suck, that's also great because you can improve your skill set. You can just change. You can just adapt. That means that there's nothing that is without your control preventing you from succeeding. Everything that will gain you success is 100% within your control. Everything. You might have been sitting in your mom's basement playing video games and addicted for the last 30 years. But if you want to make a personal fusion reactor and you want to make a company around it, there are plenty of people who also want to aspire to do that. Then everyone's going to say, well, you don't have any money, you don't have any skills, you don't have any network connection, you don't have whatever. Go on Twitter and start reaching out to everyone who you can find that's interested in the space, and then start posting things about the space. Say, I'm interested in building a fusion reactor company for personal fusion. I want to put it in cars, I want to put it in houses, I want to put it in spaceships, I want to put it in satellites, I want to put it in everything. You say that, and you say it every single day, and you start learning about it, and you start making your posts more detailed, and then you make a YouTube channel, and then you start talking about it, and you say, I want to do this thing. If anybody is interested, let me know. And although I'm saying this like it's fact, this is mainly a conversation with myself because I'm trying to do the exact same thing. I want to change the world. I have 5 companies that I want to build right now that I don't have the skill set, the knowledge, the capabilities, or the resources to do. But is that going to stop me from pursuing them? Absolutely not, dude. Time is going to pass. My life is going to pass regardless. And I can either pursue something that is worth suffering for, in my opinion, or not. I can run my own ship and walk in the direction that I want to, or I can let somebody else lead me in the direction they want me to go so that I build their empire and their dream. Which, to be honest, the position that I'm in right now, the people who can lead me, the people who have access to be able to lead me, don't really have that great of dreams anyway. If it was Elon Musk pulling me along and making sure that I build his empire and his vision, maybe I'd be a little more satisfied. But nobody else has ambition. I say this for the dating pool as well. One of the most attractive things to me is if you're doing something, regardless of gender. I am going to want to be around you if you're confidence is infectious. If you want to pursue something regardless of the odds, I'm like, there's nothing more that I respect that I want to be around because, yeah, you're crazy, probably, but does that mean that you're not going to make it work? Well, no. Elon Musk decided he wanted to make a rocket company, so he flew to Russia to buy old missiles, and they said no, so he started building rockets out of old corn silos from old farms. The audacity. If there's something that you want to do, don't tell yourself no. And it's the same rule with customers. If the customers are willing to buy something, they have perceived value. If they're willing to spend a certain amount on it, do not tell them no. It is worth what it is worth to them. And in the same way, if your dream is worthwhile to you, if it's something that you would actually appreciate if you achieved in your lifetime, pursue it. Pursue it. Don't limit yourself because somebody says it's impossible or unlikely. Yeah, it probably is unlikely. So what? It's not about the likelihood of success, because the likelihood of success increases every time you make progress. That's the crazy part. When you have no progress and you've not dedicated a single minute to pursuing this goal, the likelihood of success is probably 0. And then the moment that you decide you want to pursue it, the likelihood is now not 0. And then the more that you dedicate your time to it sincerely without fooling yourself about the success or the reality of it, the closer it gets to success. And the more that you speak about it, the more that you learn about it, the more that you reach out, the more people you find who also want to do it. And with every other person dedicated to building the same thing, the chances of success rise dramatically. Success is not a random event. It is always 0% when it starts. And then the more that you put into it, the closer you get to succeeding. Said differently, chances of success being 1% to 100%, that is based on the work that you put into it. Let me say it again. The percentage chance that an idea is going to succeed is solely based on the work that you put into it. Meaning if you don't put anything to it, if you dedicate nothing, the chance is 0. So everyone that sees you at 0 with an idea and they say the chances are 0, they're absolutely correct. What they fail to mention is that the moment you take one step, the moment you write the idea down, the moment you dedicate yourself to it, the moment you continue learning about it, you take the next step, you start asking questions to the right people, the percentage increases every time. So how do you succeed? You keep going. You be honest about where you're at and the value of the product. And remember, the value of the product speaks for itself. It's a data point. If you're building a rocket, the idea is for it to get to Mars. You don't get to decide if it's good enough. It getting to Mars decides if it's good enough. That's the greatest part. If you want to be successful at selling cookies, you don't demand that you're successful and your cookies are good enough. It's just a data point. Are the cookies selling? No? Okay, so either the cookies suck or your marketing sucks or your delivery sucks. Something sucks. All of it, as we established earlier, is controllable though. Great. So now, bringing it all the way back around, the fact that you limit your ambition limits your success. The fact that you believe that the world operates off of random chance is the reason that you're not in control. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you dedicate yourself to. You can lead other people, or you can follow other people who are building the same thing, and your goal is still achieved. So do it. Persist. Continue. When you have an idea about writing a book, and you think it's the greatest idea ever, do not delay. Do not hesitate. Put a timeline on it, and you get the draft done by then. You get an outline done, bam, that night, the next day. It has to be immediate, has to be quick, because then you have something, and then you don't stop. Because the moment that you stop, the moment you permit yourself to wait or to do it later, the idea is dead. And you let yourself down. You're now being dishonest with yourself. You have the idea, you have the ambition, and you've seen the potential, and yet you're not pursuing it. You are letting yourself down and reinforcing the idea that you cannot trust yourself or rely on yourself. So the only way to do it is you set deadlines and you get it done. And then when you've written the entire book in a week, what will take it from decent to the best, especially if you have no skills and no background and you don't know what you're doing, is now iterating. You mark it version 1. Use AI. AI is great these days. You put in 2 different prompts. One, you pretend that the AI is a consumer, and maybe you pretend that it's a consumer with different interests to figure out a possible customer's view of your book and the quality of it and the retention and the value within it. And you take a bunch of notes for later. And then your second iteration with the other prompts is that you make it be a professional publisher. You make it be a professional author. And whatever else you want, go over your work to proof it. Make edits and suggest elaboration or simplification, brevity, whatever it might be. Then you take all of those and you implement it into your thing. And make sure that it's still got your life in it, your passion, your effort. You implement all of it, it's your book. And then, you know what you do? You're in version 2. At this point, you definitely start sending it out to real people if you didn't send it out before. And then you do it again with the AI. And now, in 6 months, you have that book finished that you've been talking about. Point being, don't limit your ambition. Your creativity is worth pursuing, is worth valuing. The things that you want to do are also worth pursuing. Everyone else is going to pursue a white picket fence and a dog and a mortgage and a decent job. And the greatest part is they've got a lot of free time. And probably the biggest difference between you and them is that you are choosing how to fill your free time, and you're deciding that it's going to be different than your peers. Now you're an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur, remember, somebody who takes risk on a venture of their own. So anyone pursuing their own ambitions is accepting the responsibility of the risk and moving forward anyway. You keep convincing yourself that you're just some normal person who has to reconcile with the fact that none of their dreams are ever going to come true, and their ambitions have to be small and fit into their world. Why do you keep telling yourself that you need to have a job, that you need to settle, that you can't do the thing? You have so much potential. You have so much potential. You keep convincing yourself otherwise, but you're capable of so much. That's the whole reason why I'm talking to you right now. You are capable of so much more. You can do the thing. You can make it happen. There's no doubt in my mind. No matter how scary, no matter how impossible, if you need to raise $1 million by the end of the year to do the thing you want to do, you've got it. You've got it in the bag. How are you going to do it? I have no idea how you're going to do it. The fact that it's been done before means that it can be done again. That's the most important concept here. Everything that has been done for the first time was impossible before somebody did it, and everything that has been done before can be done again. You already know you can follow the same path and do the same thing, and you can achieve the same results. And anything that hasn't been done that's completely impossible, everything was impossible until it was done. Therefore, it's probably possible. So stop telling yourself that you aren't enough, that you aren't capable, that you cannot do it, because brother and sister, there's nothing that you cannot do. I want to talk about identity for a moment. For those of you who convince yourself that you're not good enough, that you don't look cool enough, whatever it may be, if you don't like who you are or the way that you look, you already know the answer. You need to go on a journey of self-acceptance, overcoming the idea that you need to be beautiful to other people to be valuable. Just like any business, you need to find the right market. If you're selling sunscreen, it may be a great profitable pivot to start selling sunscreen to those who don't need it. But why would you spend all of your time designing a product for a consumer base who doesn't value it? Instead, you can just decide what you want. I want to marry a Persian prince, which requires you to probably learn Persian and figure out how to put yourself in the attention of a Persian prince. If you're selling sunscreen, sell the product to the person who needs it, who actually values it. Because otherwise, it's kind of just a scam, and it's harder, and it's fake. And I don't mean this in a discouraging way. What I mean is there are so many ugly dudes, far uglier than you, who are with women who are far more beautiful than most handsome men are with. And vice versa, if you believe yourself to be an ugly woman, an ugly girl, there are far less attractive women with far more handsome guys than most attractive women have. Meaning it's possible. Same rules. You just need to stop basing so much of your own self-worth on impressing people that aren't even the end consumer. There are 8 billion people in the world. You can be with whoever you want to be with. Your standards can be as high as they can, but the higher your standards go, the more niche your target demographic is, meaning the wider net you need to cast, or the more precise net you need to cast so they see you. And since identity is a long journey, if you actually know in your heart of hearts that having cooler clothes is going to make you more confident in yourself, go buy cooler clothes and then start your journey of self-acceptance. Be well. I wish you all success and fulfillment in your endeavors. See you tomorrow.